And it's nice to see a few youth groups here, which is nice, and some counselors, and the officers are in the crowd, and that's good. Yes. That are personally reaching out here to many of us in the city, and I like that. Okay, so I will announce the open mic. We also are going to have a small vigil in about an hour, and what we're going to do is, as we light the candles, people are going to light their candle, and they're just going to say the name of whom that they've lost, and I think that would be amazing. Okay. Everyone here tonight has the right to freedom of speech. Please respect thy neighbor and allow each to have their say. Today's rally is not about spiritual beliefs or cultural prejudices. We are here as a community, and our focus is senseless gun violence and how one of us and all of us together can unite and try to make sense of these senseless acts that keep occurring in our city. Okay? So what do we want? We want peace in our streets. We want safe streets. Okay? When do we want it? We want it now. Okay? What do we want? Peace in our streets. When do we want it? Now. Nice. Okay, I'm going to start this off, and I'd like to welcome my daughter Taryn Rowe here as well. Yeah, it's her first one, so this is great. Okay, so no matter how old they get, it's said, they're always to be our children. Never is this saying as real or clear as when we have lost one of our own. The only thing that compounds this horrific grief loss is when it is achieved through an act of senseless violence. The same children we smiled at as they played cops and robbers with toy guns, the same children we lovingly gave these games to play as a whole, and the whole purpose was to teach them to have no respect and no accord for the law or value for human life. The cartoons today that show aggression and misinterpreted actions of foul play and selfish tools of learning. These same children, our children, are killing each other. The status quo, guns. When did guns become the acceptable way of dealing with conflict? Believing that it makes you tough. Shooting someone is not tough or bad, yo. It's cowardice, and it's spreading like the plague across our entire city here in Hamilton. Guns distributed and bought openly on a corner, or can be bought on a corner, in the alleys, and no restricted areas in the city of Hamilton. There is no respecter or gender or age. We need to talk about it openly and not fear. We are here to share responsibility for what we have not done or said, as silence changes nothing. We in fact allow it when we say nothing. As parents, youth, and a community, we need to get the ball rolling by speaking up. These crimes have had psychological effects on this community at large. And if you're afraid, then yes, it has affected your life, and yes, your family too. Okay, give me a second. Yeah. Vulnerable youths have many initiatives, but I personally do know where you come from does not have to be what makes you. Being a youth growing up in the East End and Congress Crescent and moving to Oriole Crescent, it was there I witnessed that kind of violence, which was and still is today, but much worse. At a young age, it comes with the ups and downs as a child raised with one parent, only to take the challenges of low-income living. At the age of 10, I sat in my room with no dinner because I was grounded for fighting at school. Imagine that. Scenes of my first act of bloodshed and screams through my open bedroom window on a hot summer's night as a young man was beaten by 5 teenagers, dragged through my own backyard, and thrown over the fence and left to die. To this day, I still don't know what happened to that man. because my mother never talked about it. You see, back then, yes, there was violence, but using hands, feet, maybe a baseball bat, or worse, a jackknife. These actions still are happening, but with a horrific twist. This is how it was back then, and there were limited resources available to educate us and help us deal with what was to come. It was far more contained from what our children and many of our youth are facing today, with poverty, racial conflicts, drugs, mental illness, and gang wars on the rise. Violence is escalating, taking over our streets madly. Guns are now a toy of choice, which allows whomever to hold it and pull the trigger with no or little consequence. These lives that are being taken today in high volumes throughout our world and in our small cities like ours. When are we going to realize we are not in this alone? Even if the violence is not directly touching your life, well, we all just want to be safe, right? Right? Yeah. Right. Okay. We have social media, which has kind of made us lazy as we sit there and post a written form. And we just click the like button or the share button. What button is being pushed in the real world is the emotional button. The one within ourselves that activates us as human beings. Social media posts are not sufficient. The stigma people that come forward needs to change. Like they say, a rat is a criminal term for what should be known as a hero in my eyes. That now in their hearts, they know in their hearts this is not right. The law needs to change so punishment fits the crime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Problems are escalating over minor conflicts. Over minor conflicts needed for interventions for youth communicating in our, committing these acts needed to be facilitated. Greed seems to be taking precedence over active strategies, resources, and by politicians, some of them, and our police department's decisions. Sit-downs just seem to not accomplish nothing. After all, it just seems pointless because they've sat down, they've said what they've said, they've walked away, and it's just a vicious circle. It just keeps going and going and going. When is this gonna stop? Okay, so this senseless violence does need to stop. And yes, it won't be easy. When the people need to make a strong stand together, we can make a difference. Together, we can accomplish great things in this city that we live in, and many people already have. This senseless gun violence hits home for myself because I am a mother of Marley Rowe taken from us at the hands of a murderer in 2014, New Year's Day. I feel the deep pain inside my heart of what this senseless violence has done not only to myself, but my family, Marley's siblings, my own children, never to enjoy the times that they dreamed of with their brother, the future experiences that they will never have or will never be. His beautiful son, Prince Rowe, who is our prince, he has been left to grow, never feeling the hugs or the love of his father had to offer, or the advice that he would give him into manhood. We guide him now, all of us together as a family, because we love each other so. With a $50,000 reward since May 28, 2015, no one has come forward. No one says anything. There is a silence. There is a silence. My family is no longer victims. We are survivors, and survivors speak up.
Yeah.
My family, like I just said, we are no longer victims. We are survivors. We are going to speak up. Tonight I am honored to have all of you here with me today to help bring positive change to our city. Just being here tonight shows that all of us here in Hamilton, we are here, we stand strong and proud together as one. And this is what's going to make peace for our Hamilton.
Peace.